Hello, true believers. Let's do this in one take. And here we go. I said I was gonna do this video for the longest time. Like I said, I'm just waiting for we're getting enough critical mass, and now we seem to be getting a lot of views, getting a lot of interest again. It just takes a while for people to know about the channel again, to know that I am vlogging again, and so I just kind of waited until there's more interest or creating more interest. So what we have over here now, I wanted to show you the evidence. Okay, I know I talked about it in my last vlog about the cybercrime police committing cybercrime, and we all have to know what the motive of the police is over here. You know, why they went through all this trouble of prosecuting me, going through different judges, going through different courts. Remember, I was if you look at the paperwork that I was charged with rape, I was charged with human trafficking, and I was charged with making porn. So here is the so in three so I had cases they filed in three different courts, especially the human trafficking one. I had human trafficking with the Department of Justice, and I had the trafficking with the that came out of my actual arrest, and I have had a human trafficking from the raid, from the search warrant, okay, which was, of course, that one we demurred. The other one in the Department of Justice was dismissed, and the other one in there was, that's why I'm free also. So here we are. Now, all those offenses, rape, human trafficking, have no bail. I repeat, no bail. Okay. And what's scary about it is, I'll go into it into detail in another vlog, but what's scary about it is that you don't have to have any proof to be charged with human trafficking. I already showed you my what is it, 2-hour vlog going through the resolution when we made a demurrer. The demurrer basically says, so what? Everything, we didn't contest it. We didn't say no. We didn't say anything about what the prosecution's evidence was from the raiding of my house. I mean, what else do you want? What else is the technicality? The rule is, the law is also not, it's like you need a warrant to search my house, which they did, but you also need a second warrant to investigate the electronic devices, which they didn't have. But this judge allowed it anyway. It's like, so what? We'll go ahead and continue. Let me see what your evidence that you raided from his house. Even after all that, okay, even after I was arrested, even after all that, we said, so what? Okay, you can be charged with human trafficking over here and have no evidence whatsoever. So that's what's scary. Okay, so, and then we'll probably go into the rape next. Okay, so I just wanted to probably say you can get charged with rape and there'll be absolutely no evidence of rape. So everybody needs to acknowledge that, this is how scary it is here in the Philippines. You don't need any evidence. You just have to be accused. Okay, the police just have to be accused. And then we have to ask the question next is, why would somebody accuse you of rape, of human trafficking, of doing cybercrime, if there's no evidence of it? And here is the reason why. Okay, we all have to know. The reason is pretty simple. When I was being interviewed by the news reporters, that was the first thing on my mind was money. But I didn't want to talk about it because I knew I wanted to play my card that, like, okay, I know they're going to be, the conversation when they're going to be asking me for money to make this go away so I could bribe. Okay, so I know everybody is like, this is probably why I'm going to make this video, is like, I didn't want to say money because I didn't want to kind of give up that play. That was like the first thing in my mind, is like, okay, this is just all about money. All right. So, but I knew, so I was going to plan on, like everybody is suspecting, everybody's talking about, I was planning on bribing my way through. I repeat, yes, everybody is correct that, like, I should have, I just paid them off. I bribed them. But yes, you're correct. I did pay them off. I did bribe them. But this is how, okay? And this is how it went wrong. This is what they did. They were just squeezing money out of me. They were just extorting money out of me, because this is the police. I mean, in their defense, how else do you want them to make money? Because the person over here, the one, especially over here in his name over here. You got PO3 Police Officer 3 Juan Rachel B Lorente. He's got a signature on it. He probably makes only $200 or $300 a month. Okay, $200 or $300 a month. Okay, that's not for me to say like, well, is that a lot? Is that a little? That's just how much they're paid. They even got a raise. And if you're making only $200-$300 a month, how else? Even if you double it at $500-$600 a month, that's not enough for him to live off of and take care of his family. So this is what they have to do. In their defense, if you're a policeman over here, and then especially if you're in cybercrime and you need money and you have a lot of money because vices cost a lot of money, like alcohol, gambling, smoking, drug vices, prostitution vice, all those vices cost a lot of money. And probably prostitution vice, it's free, so that way they won't raid the bars. But the point I'm saying, all those other vices, especially gambling and drugs and smoking, those things cost a lot of money. And how else do you expect the people over here in the Philippines? Because it's all about vices over here. Remember, this is the culture. It's not for you to judge. It's not for you to say that's wrong. It's just for you to accept. And once you accept it, you can be careful and you can live with it. Okay, so the people, if you're a policeman and you need money, what are you gonna do? Well, this is what you're gonna do, and this is important information for you to know to keep yourself safe, because you're not gonna stop this. By no means am I saying that this is by making this video that I'm gonna stop this kind of crime, this cyber crime, especially the cyber crime from police from happening. Police are gonna continue to rape people. Police are gonna continue to murder. Police are gonna continue recycling drugs. Police are going to continue to steal money, to extort money. I was watching this video earlier where the police in Manila have a secret jail inside their headquarters where they kept all these, they walked in and they kept all these prisoners, and the prisoners were never charged. They were never brought to prosecution because they were being extorted for money. So if they got the money, then if the family members were able to pay them off, then they'll release them. It's kind of like pay us off and then we'll release you. But that's kind of dangerous because it's like you have to do what's called trusting the police. If once you give them the money, they hold the keys, they hold the guns, they got the law on their side. Once you give them the money, what's stopping them from just shooting you and throwing you over the bridge somewhere is the hardest part, because you have to trust them to let you go. And when you're talking about criminals, how can you trust criminals? It's like the police is the last thing you should trust. It's like you shouldn't trust them as far as you could throw them. You can't. It's not just the police and their defense. You can't trust anybody here in the Philippines. So I'm just saying that this is the reality here for everybody, saying how wonderful it is here in the Philippines. It's full of dangerous people, especially the police, because there's nothing you can do about it, because that's the police. Okay, if it's like a regular criminal, like I said, if in your house, that's an inside job. If it's like a business that scammed you, you have like options, or you have recourse, you have things that you can do. But when it's the police are actually doing it, then there's nothing you can do about it. And the best solution is to know what their motives are, to know what the reality is, to know what their methods are, so you could easily, well, I'm not saying it easily, but you have a chance now. Before you didn't know, now you didn't know. That's what's very important about this video. So over here we got the Republic of the Philippines Department of Justice, National Prosecution Service, Office of the Provincial Prosecutor, Hall of Justice. This is the receipt of object of evidence. So I'm just going to go through, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the evidence that they got from me during my arrest. Remember, I have two sets of evidences against me, one from the raid, and this one is one from when I was actually arrested that night, when I was set up. We'll get into the whys and hows probably more in detail about that night if you have any questions, but these are the evidences that they got. Okay, so first thing we got, so we'll go through so they have my iPhone. So I had an iPhone, that was the one given to me from Pico, and everybody's like asking, it's like, how is everybody, how are our supporters or contributors, how were they contacted? And the answer is no, I don't have any information of that. And I actually have two people. that are actually active in our comment section. Is Quincy, who was a supporter, and after 3 years while I was gone, he was still around. And Esoteric Lurker, he's one of their contributors. And the only thing they told me that happened was they were contacted through my PayPal. Somebody posing as my wife was sending them PayPal money requests. I repeat, somebody posing as my wife hacked into my PayPal account and was using my PayPal to request money. Fortunately, they didn't fall for it. They know something was fishy. Normally, I talk to people and before I do a money request, and when they know that after this happened, it was kind of like it's kind of a blessing in disguise that the media was involved, that everybody knew that I was in prison, so that way I didn't have to make an explanation of where I was, and to wait for me to come out, so they didn't send any money. I think that's it. So that's the only thing that they told me that happened, obviously, because we didn't do anything wrong. And here's where the wrong thing went. So here we go. We got my iPhone. I had my Canon camera, my G7 Mark II camera. I had a Samsung camera. I had a tripod. I had a Samsung headset and my BPI Express credit card, BPI Express Teller International and Intel International card, and my RCBC MasterCard. So basically what you have that's going to be in a wallet is your license, so your ID, so here, and it was signed by PO3, Police Officer 3 or third level, June Rachel B. Lorente. So it's got his name all over it. It's like, you have my evidence now. Okay, now everybody knows that this is evidence now, and then tampering with the evidence or using it for personal use is against the law. That's supposed to be. There's a lot of things against the law. So over here we also have my Union Bank ATM card, black wallet, driver's license of the suspect, bills amounting to, they're saying 4,050, but I actually had 9,000. I had 10,000, but then I paid we ate at Shakey's before that, so it was 9,000, and they're saying it's 4,000. So this is, like I said, another method of police stealing money. They could have just stolen the whole thing and just said, I only had 500 pesos in there, but it's just 4,000 pesos. And, because this is human trafficking, it's like I should have some money in my wallet. But anyway, so I had 4,000. So they stole 5,000 pesos, and my vehicle, which is also, they're guilty of carnapping. If they use this for any reason at all, other because it's part of evidence, then they're guilty of tampering with evidence or using it for personal use. So this is, like I said, just from my arrest alone. This does not include, and here's got, so June Rachel Lorente, you should be sweating when you're watching this. So if people from Cybercrime, you guys should all be sweating, because this is, now that I'm free, now that I've been cleared, you guys are now in big trouble, especially here when you got this, your name on it over here. And here we go. Let's look at so now you know that they have custody of my credit cards and my license and my information and my gadgets, all that. So you would think that with all that, catching me by surprise, why you catch me by surprise? Because, I've known these girls for so long. You're talking about 2 years now, that I just got complacent. It's just like, okay, we've eaten so many times, and nothing has gone wrong. And then all of a sudden the police showed up. And here's why. We just have to ask the question. Here's why. And I want to say that because of rape, I was charged with rape. You probably, whenever time you're charged with rape, then what they'll do is they'll go to the prosecutor's office, and, because there's no bail for that, they'll go to the prosecutor's office and give the medical legal report. This is the medical report to show, and I'll get into that. I'll show the medical legal report. Like I said, it's, you don't need any evidence to be charged with rape. And of course, the first and most damning evidence should be the medical legal report. So that's probably what I'll do next. And then I'll go through the actual, so once you kind of have an idea, like, okay, this is why they did it. They need to steal money. Here's their evidence. And they still went through with it. And they applied it for three different judges and 3 different courts. And this is the reason why. Okay, so you need to ask yourself, why would they go through the why did they do that? And this is the reason why. Because anytime the police arrest somebody, the first thing they got to do is, okay, how am I going to make money? All right, so this is the way. For me, to me, this is how the way they made money. Now, normally this is not something that they could do. Well, let me get into that later. So let's go ahead and continue. I want to do this in one take, so I kind of blotted out the personal information. So here's to kind of give you an idea of, so they even have, they made copies of my credit card, because you know, I had a bank at RCBC, and I had a Union Bank, and as you can see, there's a Visa logo. This one has a MasterCard logo, so I was in trouble. So they were, and this one is an ATM card, and this is my PhilHealth card in case I get in an accident or I get sick. Here's my driver's license, and this is what's really important over here. Is my BPI Express Gold credit card, Gold Master credit card, because that's what we're going to be diving into, because that's where I have all the statements. The other ones are electronically done. So this one I actually have a paper statement. So anybody who's wondering, so it's BPI Express card, Gold MasterCard. Okay, so remember the number that I was showing before for 475,688 and 59 centavos, 475,688,000 pesos and 59 centavos. Okay, that is actually a statement of account. Okay, here's my customer. This is my BPI Express credit card, Gold MasterCard, such as a regular one. So previous balance was 800. I even had a credit in there for minus 800, because sometimes I'll just overpay just a little bit, because sometimes there's hidden charges, and then, you know, I want to make sure that I'm not being charged any interest. So I was actually, before I was arrested, there was an 811 so balance. I repeat, so the previous balance. Okay, so now, and then after that, the past due, there wasn't anything. All of a sudden you got an ending balance, so you went from a negative balance to an ending balance of 478. So this is the unbilled installment, what is that, installment account. So that's the what's due. So let's get into this. Okay, so let's get into the list. Remember, I was arrested July 18th. I repeat, July 18th. All right, so here's the list of the activity after July 18th. I was in jail. I only have one credit card. I don't let the boss have a credit card for obvious reasons. Okay, I'm the only one that holds a credit card in our family, for especially, and I just have a credit card for emergency reasons. If I need to go to ATM, you know, I always have my cards with me just in case. But for emergencies, in this situation, it bit me in the butt. So if you look at the dates, it starts from July 25, July 26, July 27, July 30, July 31, and August 6. So in the span of 4 days, they were able to bill $10,000. So let's look into detail what they were. All right, so here we go. We got, the first one was at July 25. So that's, you can see it's all just in 4 days, July 26, July 30, July 31, the majority. And then here's one, we got one in August. It's kind of an outlier here. And let me get the light. What happened to my light? See if you could read that. Light. So the first one, let's just work with this. So the first one you'll see is from Mercury Drug. That's like a drugstore in Laguna for 111 pesos. Okay, that was kind of like a starter, kind of a warm-up. Then we go to Walter Mart, which is kind of like a grocery store over here. So they spent $100, 4,317. And then they went to a South Supermarket. So it's another supermarket for 8,300. So about, you know, $160, $180. Same thing with Super 8 Lipa. Super 8 Lipa is another like market grocery store. Super 8 Lipa. And then South Supermarket over here, they start going on a big shopping spree. So 12,100. So that's, oh gosh, what's 12,000? You're talking about $250. I mean, I'm just off the top of my head, but you can do a calculator. And then all of a sudden we go over to the 31,000. So you're talking about $600 over here. And then you got the W Mart supermarket in Tanawan. So, and then you got another one in Shell. They had to get some some gas over here at Shell. Gold something motoristas for 1,000 pesos. So they needed to get gas. If they're going on a shopping spree, so they needed to get gas. And then over here we got Rob Appliances. Oh, Robinson's Appliances. Okay, so not Rob, but Rob. I mean, it's kind of ironic that we're robbing appliances. So here's Robinson's Appliances for 17,000. So they were in there going on a shopping spree for 17,000. And then next day, was it the same day? Yeah, the same day they charged again for 18,000. So, and then the next after that, they went to go eat at Pizza Hut for 500 pesos. So I'm trying to wonder, is this just one person? Because how can they just eat at a Pizza Hut for only $10? Maybe, I mean, $10 is a lot. That could probably feed a lot of people if you buy. And that's one whole pizza. So you could probably feed 3 or 4 people with that whole pizza here. And after that, they went to South Supermarket and spent another 13,000 pesos. And then after that, they spent, is it the same day? Yeah, same day. They spent $800 at the South Supermarket. Then after that, they spent, in one day, they spent $2,000, it looks like, in one South Supermarket now. Now, the first thing you probably think is, well, wouldn't that set off red flags that somebody spent 2,000 with a card you never used before? And then, well, yeah, of course. And what's gonna happen? Well, the bank's gonna call you, and guess what? They have my phone. You saw in the evidence, and they'll say, yeah, we're doing the charges. So it's like, okay, what's your personal information? Where's your birth date? Where's your address? It's all in there in my in my driver's license. So that's why they said, okay, we'll continue. And also when it comes to credit cards and the banks, they're like going, yeah, keep going then, because they make a lot of money, especially from the service charges. Okay, so here we go. And then South Supermarket again. And then now we're gonna go, okay, Sarabia Optical in Lipa, Batangas. So they bought like a $400 worth of sunglasses here, or glasses here at Sarabia Optical. So first thing we gotta do is we gotta buy a bunch of groceries, gas, and then lunch. Then after that, the same day, they went to go on a shopping spree. So they're like going from place to place, and who will take the credit card. And it's like, okay, here we go. We need sunglasses also, or eyeglasses, or any kind. So they spent 9,000, so $10,000. You talk about $200. Oh wait, I'm sorry, $400. Then after that, they went to Vivo. So Vivo sells cell phones. Okay, I wanted to get a Vivo with the built-in stabilizer, and so they went to Vivo and they bought. It looks like they bought 2 phones, one for $200 and one for $300. Okay, as you can see from over there. Then they went to Ever in Manila. So there's probably the next. Oh yeah, the next day. They went to a Rico store, and I have no idea what the Rico store is. I even tried to Google it, and it just says like a lechon. It's like a restaurant, but they were able to charge $3,000 on the same day at a restaurant. $3,000 at a restaurant. Look at that. So I can understand the Ever Mall in Recto, Manila. They charged like $400, but over here at the restaurant in Rico's store, they were able to charge $3,000. Okay, look at that. So I have no idea what that is. I even tried to Google it, no idea. So SM Department Store got that, so they spent like $160. And here's the other weird one, something GHL Green Tab Premium in Batangas. Now this one, Green Tab, I think it's a electronic store that sells like tablets is what I assume. So they have like weird names, but from here, Green Tablet Premium. So I would suggest that that's probably, you're probably buying iPads. So they're buying green tablets. So iPads, mini iPads. So one for $300, one for $400, and one for $160. And then the last one here, we got August 6th. So just want to let you know what the police did in 400 pesos. So he had to get some gas after that, or 200 for only 200 pesos. So all that in 4 days amounts to 475, and that's actually my credit limit. Let me see does it say? Yeah. Let me go over here. So I have a payment. So October 1st, 2018, and you cover up I have a credit limit of 500,000, and then so they kind of left 7,000 before the credit card was cut off, as you could see. So I have a credit limit, which is a lot of money over here. What people do is that they give credit cards to people that can handle money over here in the Philippines. So here's what I have, and you could see I have a credit limit. So that's why they could only spend $10,000. Now, if you look, so when asked about the extortion, when they were extorting the people in jail, in the secret jail in Manila, the people being interviewed, how much were they asking? They were asking anywhere between 50 to 100,000 pesos. They were asking anywhere between 1,000 to $2,000, and these poor people don't have that money, so they're just gonna sit in jail forever. So in my case, so that's usually the bribes that usually they ask for to let you go. But in this situation, not only were they able to get their $1,000, not only be able to get their $2,000, they were also able to get their $10,000 just from one credit card, And like I said, my PayPal and then my bank account. Well, how they were able to hack into your bank account? Well, my bank account is online, and it was attached to my email also, which was bebelsonly@yahoo.com. So everything, all my bank related stuff they could see in there, and then they could just change it, and they could and my biggest problem was my email was attached to my phone, and they were able to reset my password in my email, and they were able to just get all that information, and they were able to hack into my bank account and my PayPal account, because the PayPal reset was sent to my phone, which was email. So you're probably going, Bebels Only, why would you do that? Why would you connect all your passwords? And well, because I was thinking under the same presumption that if something ever happened, my password, I need a backup to be able to, for safety and security. That's what I did, because I monitor my stuff every day. So if anything peculiar happens, I could be right on top of it and reverse it. But the problem is, in my situation, I couldn't do anything. Once I was arrested, I didn't have access to phones and access to internet. And then you're asking, well, what about Bebels Only? Why didn't you tell your wife? Well, there was no reason for her to access all these things, because I have a separate account. We have a separate joint account. So a separate account for her. So she didn't have any reason to be accessing these things until she was getting a phone call from the bank for collections. And that's when you knew 3 months later. Okay. So let's stop and think for a moment over here. Okay. This is hacking into your accounts. You're talking about thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. And like I said, they even hacked into my bank account, which had Heroes football fund and his college tuition in there that Pico gave us. And that was all gone also. You're talking about tens and tens of thousands of dollars that the police robbed me of, okay? And so of course, so now everybody's clear. How am I going to get off on a bribe? I can't bribe them anymore. They already have the money. They already took the money. They already emptied it out of my bank account. They already emptied it out of my PayPal account, just like they emptied out my credit card. Is this against the law? Yes, absolutely. But they're doing it as like naturally as they're breathing, because this is not just an opportunistic thing. This is a step by step process. You gotta, it's very calculated. It's very planned. It's not like an opportunistic thing where you just kind of see somebody's phone just sitting there and unattended, or somebody's bag, or the jeepney they could just snatch. Or this is not pickpocketing. They had to go through a lot of channels. They had to bribe a judge to give them a search warrant. Then they have to get these so-called minors to set me up, because is there a law against using minors so they could be raped by me? And of course, we'll look at the medical report by their police doctors on what it actually said. So we'll get into that later. I've already gone into the first report. We still have 2 other court reports, but it's kind of anticlimactic because you already know, but it still gets interesting. There's just more. So I just want to, so just kind of put yourself in their perspective. Okay, so this is what we're going to do to make money. We're going to get the search warrant. We're going to arrest him. We're going to use minors to arrest him and put them in a dangerous situation. We're going to put him in a hotel. We're going to have him rape them. And then so we can get his credit card and his bank accounts. And we're cybercrime. This is what we do. We investigate people hacking into credit cards. We investigate hacking into accounts. This is how most of the crimes here happen now, because it's like they use through the use of SIM cards now. So they're very professionals when it comes to these kind of things. They're very knowledgeable. They know exactly what they're doing. So, but this is what they needed. So that so this is what they do. They arrest people. Of course, disclaimer, not all police are like this, just all the police that I deal with, especially cybercrime, because this is not just one person. Okay, the judges that got bribed, the lawyers that, even though there's no evidence of it, so there's lawyers involved, there's a whole team. And then this operation was also okayed by their boss. They have a boss also. They said, yeah, go with this operation. Based on what? Okay, they accuse him, but we don't have any proof of it. Okay, that doesn't matter. He has money. We'll just accuse him of anything we want. We don't need any proof of it. Okay, what we need is money. All right, so we were able to, so this money goes up. How far up? I don't know, but you just can't be stealing this kind of money and not giving people, or it's having it being okayed. So this is systemic. This is not just one isolated incident like everybody says. Like I said, because you needed a whole army. You're talking about a dozen people raiding my house, stealing valuables, stealing jewelry. I didn't have any cash at home at that point. Usually we keep cash in the bank. We have some petty cash around the house, of course, but we don't. But they didn't find it. I think the scariest thing is one time I had like 2 million cash when I was like transferring banks at one point at home but it was only for a couple of days. But imagine what that would be like. That would be gone, especially. So be careful when you have stuff at home, because at any time the police can raid your house. They don't need any evidence. They don't need any reason to. The only reason they need money, and you have it, and they're going to steal it. Okay, and this is one of the ways that they could steal money. Okay, if you have a credit card and they have all your information, there's no PIN, as long as they have their phone, and they can continue it. And that's what they did. Okay, we just need to be mindful of this now that we know that they can do it. And why am I doing this? Because I don't want them doing it again. It was so horrible for me going through it. And it's one thing to commit credit card fraud and be inconvenienced and then just have this problem in your credit. Now it's like you went to jail for 3 years because of this. Okay, and not only did you went to jail, but you paid them to do it. Okay. So this is extortion, and normally I would be free from extortion. And no. It's like we got him money, and now they have every reason in the world, because they're not only that they got the money, their livelihood depends on it now. Okay, this is how they make money. This is how the police make money in the Philippines. Extortion in one form or another. Okay, in a drug bust, it would be the drug money and the drugs themselves that they can not only use but sell and recycle. And in my situation, because this is cybercrime, they're committing cybercrime. So the drug enforcement agencies, they're ninja cops, then they sell drugs. In my situation, this is cybercrime. Well, then they do cybercrime, which is, so this is culture. This is what happens. Guess what they're doing now? Guess what the cybercrime police is doing now? Okay, they're committing cybercrime also. They're out there extorting money. How else are they going to get money? They're going to say, oh, we don't have any money for this, we don't have any money for that, so how else do we get money from our jobs? And this is part of their job. This is when the colonel visited me in jail. He said, I'm not doing, this is not personal. This is what he said to me. I'm going to go word for word, since the guy is dead now. Okay, so he can't really say anything against it. So talk about karma. Everybody's talking about karma this, karma that. Well, here's karma. I'm alive. He's dead. Okay, so that's probably the ultimate karma. I can go on and do booty calls. I can go on and enjoy my football. I can enjoy, you could see, doing well in school. I could still continue enjoying life. That's what karma is giving me now, okay? Versus when you're dead, there is no karma. You're just dead. You don't exist anymore, okay? So that's ultimately here. It's like we're over here in the Philippines, it's a war of attrition. It was like either the colonel major is going to be dead or I'm going to be dead. Okay. And for me, it was, I'm going to probably do a whole video on how to survive. The longer it's like, it's just like, just survive, just see the next day and you've got a chance versus because the police that are doing this, they're on borrowed time also. They know if they keep doing this, like they're going to run into they're flipping the coin every day also with their lives by doing these kind of crimes every day. You can't be doing that to other people, especially innocent people, and make money and not have it come back at you. So imagine how many years and how many victims that these police are doing this to, and eventually it's gonna catch up with you. And now he's dead. Okay, so I repeat, he's dead now. The person, the chief that was in charge of all this, is dead, and I am alive. Okay, and that's what's important. Okay, as long as you're alive, there's hope. There's because as long as this dog is alive, I'm gonna have my day, okay? And every day after that, for 3 years, I didn't have my day. Now every day this dog is gonna have his day. Versus the major colonel, he's dead now, okay? And this is the reason why, because there is such a thing called humanity. It's one thing to like, okay, I understand that people have to rob and commit crimes and everything like that. And you do credit card fraud and you can easily dispute it with your bank and you don't have to be in trouble for it. At least you're not going to jail for it, or at least you didn't die for it, okay? For me, I was supposed to die, and for the grace of God, I went to a little bit in detail how I survived, what kind of chain of events that happened, that I lived. This is what happened. I mean, I should have been dead after this. After they got the money, the police are supposed to murder you. You're tied up loose ends, so they don't know. For some reason, I didn't. One of the reasons why is because the media, okay? I was going to do a video, or I'm going to do a live stream, how to survive police kidnapping for ransom and extortion. Because after they got the money, you're supposed to be dead. And that's what they did to that Korean businessman in Angeles City when they kidnapped him. The same day, he gave them the access to his ATM, gave him the password so he could live, because it's like you're in a position of authority and you're scared for your life. Your life is more important than money. And if you could just buy yourself time, if you could just buy your way out of it, give him the ATM, just get through and see the next day. In this situation, he was alone. He made the mistake and he died after he gave him the ATM card. And was the insult to injury. So after he was dead, they still contacted the wife and they were able to get 5 million pesos, which is about $100,000 of ransom money. Okay. And she said, okay, show me that he's alive, that she's okay. I already gave you 100,000. Of course, she's going to give it because she's scared. She doesn't want to know what to do. She's alone, or she's by herself, and she's being helped out by a lawyer also. And let me tell you a thing about lawyers. Okay. Whenever you get in trouble over here in the Philippines, the lawyer is the last person that wants you to get out of jail. I repeat, the last person. They don't want to get you out of jail. Okay. The police want to keep you out of jail more than the lawyer does, because once you're in jail, the lawyer is going to go cha-ching, cha-ching. That's cash money once you're in jail. So of course the police are that's a conflict of interest, because once we hand them over to the lawyers, once we hand over the prosecution, we don't have any money anymore. That's why we have secret jails. That's why we just kind of extort them for money. In my situation, I had a weird buddy system where I had the media with me, because the media was with me. They were my buddy system. So this is kind of like now that was one Korean. Then after that, a few months later, 3 Koreans were kidnapped. But for some reason, they lived. Why did 3 Koreans live after they're kidnapped for ransom? They stole their golf sets, they stole their money, they stole their jewelry, they stole their watches. And then they were able to get away and they lived. Okay, one of the reasons is, my theory is, because there's 3 of them. It's harder to hide 3 bodies and explain versus 1 body. Okay, 1 body. So the Korean businessman, after he was killed, they said he was strangled to death. And after that, they got rid of his body by taking him to another police who owns a crematorium. So there was another police that owns a crematorium, gave it to him and gave him 30,000 pesos. That came from this guy's ATM account, 30,000 pesos, and a set of golf bags, his golf bags that had insult to injury. And after his remains were turned into ashes, the guy dumped the ashes into the toilet. He just dumped them into the toilet. And then after that, they went to go after the wife. So surviving police crime over here, kidnap, harass them, and like I said, this is how they make money. They'll arrest somebody, they'll put them in jail, and then they'll squeeze money out of them because this is the only way that they can make money. How else do you expect them to make money? It's not for them in their eyes, whether it's legal, it's not legal, it's what they can do. Okay, and I'm showing you this is what they did. Okay, so it could be anybody. Okay, and then like I said, not only one judge, not only two judges, not only three judges that says I did not do anything wrong, I did not do anything illegal. But the important thing is you could still be accused of any of those things, and this is the reason why. Okay, and like I said, where is the humanity? Okay, we were talking about terms like humanity. It's like that's the stupidest thing. We're using words like humanity. I know what humanity means. You know what humanity means. Where is the humanity? Is that part of our consciousness, our higher level of consciousness? Yes, we could do this. We can kill somebody like the police. We could put somebody in jail. We could rape somebody. We could put somebody in jail. We could embarrass them. We could accuse them of anything, of any crime that we want. The worst crime ever, child rapist, child trafficker, for the whole world to know. You can do any of those things, okay? But you're not supposed to do them. Why? Especially to an innocent person. Why? Because there's a thing called humanity that stops you from doing that to another person. And it's like, why is there, the problem is there is no humanity here. Okay, this is all about just living in the moment. What is it that I need? I need money. This person has money. The last thing you're talking about is humanity. Okay, just like that movie Alive. You ever seen the movie Alive, where there's no humanity? They're just like eating each other. They're just resorting to cannibalism. Why? Because when you're hungry, when you're desperate, when your life is in danger, like when it came to the major colonel's life, he's not worried about what's going to happen 3 years from now because he's going to be dead in 1 year. He could be dead at any moment. So who cares what's going to happen 2, 3, 40 years from now? So it's all about just getting your food, your money, your needs right now, especially if this guy has a lot of gambling debts. Then it's all about, I don't care about humanity. I don't care who I'm going to hurt. I'm just going to get paid here. I just got to get money. Okay, how they do it is going to be examples like this. And who are they going to do it with? It's like they don't have to be guilty. They don't have to have any evidence of what they're accusing you of. They just need to get money and they just need to put you in jail. So the normal thing would be to extort me for money and then they would let me go. But now they don't have to let me go because they already stole the money from me. They already extorted the money from me. This is what I say, like the game has changed because you don't need to, the usual of kidnap for ransom doesn't apply anymore. And so they could just kidnap you, throw you in jail, accuse you of anything without any evidence. This is the evidence that all they need. The evidence they need is you have money, okay? And normally you pay them off and you let them go and then that's it. We go on with our lives. But now the game has changed where they can get paid you off and kill you or put you in jail. Okay, so there's usually once you get, and then they're probably thinking, okay, we got 3 cases against him. This is pretty solid. We'll just throw evidence at him. We'll intimidate the girls to testify against him, and he's gonna be in jail forever. And that's better than murdering him, okay, tying up loose ends. That loose end is never going to get out of jail for the next 40 years. That was their plan. And they thought it was going to work, except the problem is they didn't have any evidence. What? The police they're not, as you could see, they're not lawyers. I don't want to say other than that. They don't know anything about the law. They just know that they think that just because okay, there's smoke, there's fire, and we don't have to worry about it. We can, so rinse and repeat to the next person. So imagine what the police are doing now. Okay, they're doing this again to somebody else. Maybe because I'm probably a red herring because I'm probably the only person here in the Philippines that has a credit card that's full that they can use. Most people's credit cards over here are empty and then they're just making payments on it. But there's a lot of people that are coming here to the Philippines like you with credit cards. Okay, so they could just say, as you could see, it's that easy to accuse you. Okay, so that's probably, let's bring this probably into Ned over here, because Ned was, I can understand why he came on this channel, because he's scared, and he's talking about how he's kind of scared of YouTube now, or he doesn't want to do YouTube anymore, because this is the reality. Okay, Ned, you're high profile, everybody freaking knows you, everybody knows that you have money, and if you start showing that money around, you say you have a fancy car. Okay, I only had a Mitsubishi subcompact Mirage. Okay, if they see you have a fancy car, if they see you live in a fancy house, if they see that you have all these views, and they see your face, and they see your family, and they see your kid, okay, they threaten my family, they threaten my wife, and they threaten my kid. Okay, so that's all the police need to know. You don't need to commit any crimes, Ned. Just as long as they know you have money, they know your wife, they know you have an only child, you have an only daughter, they can file with any crime that they want just to be able to do this to you. Okay, so you're gonna thank me. Of course, you owe me your life, Ned, because I just warned you what the police can do to you. If they can do this to me, they can do this to you also. Okay, not only Ned, not only me, they can do this to anyone. Okay, because you don't have to commit a crime. Anyone could be accused of any crime. So I'll show you the rape medical legal after this. Okay, so I'm gonna do a bunch of videos. I don't know if I could how much I could live stream tomorrow. I think I only have like 3, 4, or 5 hours of my StreamYard, but I'll go ahead and I'll live stream tomorrow so you guys could see. So, but I just wanted to show you black and white what the police here are doing every day. Not only just the cybercrime police, okay, committing cybercrime. So just think about the humanity here. There is no humanity. You can't use words like grooming. You can't use words like humanity, because like I said, look at this. What do you do? When people are just living at the moment, living moment to moment, okay, there's nothing stopping them from committing these kind of things. There's no part in their higher level of consciousness, okay? It's like, should I be doing this to another human being? Okay, they don't ask that question, okay, that you and I would normally ask, okay? So that's why, I'm sharing all this information. Of course, it's dangerous, all right, because this not only can the police be removed from their positions, their authority, and this can get a lot of people in trouble because the evidence is damning. Look, you've got the receipt of evidence over here, their inventory of evidence. It's got their signature on it. They're in custody of it, and this is what they do with it once they have custody with it. And then my car, who knows how many miles they put in, miles and miles, thousands of miles they put in my car for the last 3 years. And of course, they're not maintaining it. I know they already crashed it. They used my car during my inquest when I was being inquested, and they crashed it. The colonel crashed it into a curve because the guy doesn't know how to drive, and he's not being careful because it's not his car. Okay, it was our car that was by our supporters that they worked hard for, that they did legally, and the police over here are going to use it and destroy it illegally and perform crimes. So everybody needs, so who is the real criminal over here? That's why, like I said, I'm sharing this because number one is I'm the only person that could be trusted here in the Philippines because I tell the truth, okay? And you're probably saying to yourself, oh no, this is not going to happen to me because it's never going to happen to me. Murphy's Law. So once you think it's never going to happen to you because I'm not doing anything wrong, it's like you don't have to do anything wrong. That's why when you go to the airport, there's nothing but scammers over there. Everybody's got a scammer story, and the police are the number one scammers here in the Philippines because they have the gun, they have the law, they have the authority, they have the intimidation. And the prosecutions will just go along with it. It's like, okay, then I'll just prove it in court. Yes, that's all fine and dandy, but if it's something like human trafficking and rape, and you don't have to do any human trafficking and you don't have to do any rape, you're going to be sitting in jail for years and years. And depending on where you are, you might talking about, it could take anywhere from, mine took 3 years, but yours could take, depending on where it is, could take 1 year, or it could take 10 years. And then like, oh yeah, you're out of prison, you're innocent, and you're cleared your name, but you still spent 3 years in prison, even though you didn't do anything wrong. And this is why. So I'll probably get into the next stream is like, how do you make sure you prevent this? Okay, how do you bribe the police? Well, you can't bribe them anymore because they'll just take your credit cards and do this now. So where is the bribing of the police? Here's the bribing of the police. Okay, the police were bribed, but they weren't bribed to let me go, as people are saying that, oh, they let you go because you bribed them. They put me in jail because I paid them through my credit cards and they got the money from me. Did I pay them intentionally? No, of course. They just stole it, and they did it without my, obviously without my consent, obviously. But people, of course, will keep thinking what they want to keep think. Okay, and they have personal reasons. Here I am telling you the truth, and if you don't want to accept the truth, I mean, that's your own personal problem. You have your own personal issues that has nothing to do with me. You have other issues, but I'm just telling you the truth. Here's black and white. Here's a credit card statement. Here's the police inventory. They had it in custody. They stole the money. They committed a crime. Okay, what else do you need to hear? And they do this every day. And this is the reason why, because there is no humanity here in the Philippines. Anyway, so do I have any my all my other stuff is online. I've been locked out of it. I have to go through certain channels that people don't want me to uncover, right? Because like I said, this is dangerous for me. Anytime you have a case like this against the police, okay, you just have to be careful. You just have to know, okay? In this pandemic, I don't travel, I don't go anywhere. All right, so they can't ambush me. But this is, like I said, this is dangerous. This is put my life in danger, and I'm doing this so I could save your life. Okay, so maybe some people will say, oh, thank you for going through that. Now I can make sure that it doesn't happen to me. Also, they won't be able to get money out of my credit cards. I have a chance now. They won't be able to commit cybercrime on me, because as you could see, the steps that they'll use, and this is what they'll do to you. And then maybe, just maybe, you have a chance, but just be careful when number one, you can't trust the police. Okay, to do you if you ever go into a transaction with them, you can't trust the police. Anyway, I've said enough. I could probably go into more into detail, but you probably, like I said, the most important thing right now is try to put yourself in the minds of all the police. Remember, there were two police. There are two news agencies there. I guess both of them, GMA and ABS-CBN. I guess GMA and CNN are the same. So there was a social worker there. There was also the whole police department was there. And even then, during my court proceedings, there was like a parade of dignitaries that would show up, and they would kind of see look at the monkey in the cage in handcuffs, to see, to see the child rapist, the child trafficker. They're like giving high fives to each other, how they're able, like, I'm supposed to be this big catch, and they're all going to get ceremonies and awards and gold medals for putting me in jail. And the whole time that they were just, once the actual trial happened, it's like, what? There's no evidence. What do you mean there's no evidence? We got the people saying, well, they weren't trafficked. What do you mean they weren't being trafficked? That's not what they said. What about what they were raped? Well, there's no evidence that they were raped. So how are we supposed to? But he said but they signed an affidavit that says that they were raped. But they said they weren't raped. Okay, so it's like you are whatever they accuse you, and you have to understand. Why would they do those things? And because they're just petty, they're just criminals, they're just thieves, they'll just rob you. And like I said, they're just looking for a payoff. And like I said, the game has changed, and you got to change with the game. And you have to know that this is what the police do. They're going to extort you for money if they're doing something to you, and you just have to be prepared for it. Okay, you could do it the wrong way. I mean, why did this happen to me? Mistakes had to be made, and everybody knows we all learn more from mistakes. And Ned was right. I am the most experienced over here in the Philippines. If you look at Ned, what is his experience? He went to some Podank in Dumaguete. He had 2 relationships. One failed, and one shotgun wedding to him, right? So that's his experience. Okay, he's never had all the experiences that I have. My experiences in America, I've had a lot of experiences, and people know my experiences over there also. Right, so I've accomplished more things than Ned over there, obviously. And then he comes here to the Philippines and, you know what, I'm just gonna retire. So I've actually built a home over here in the Philippines, which none of these vloggers I've ever done. I went through that, did it successfully. And I actually helped people here, and I did that successfully. And like I said, eventually the police were going to get involved, and I needed to survive that also. So I survived a lot of things. I've survived a lot of things in America. It's like people are stalking me in America. They know my history in America. I survived that also, and I survived young enough to take my family over here so we could have a good life, and we were having a good life. And I was able to survive all those things in America as a poor minority, no friends, no family, no connection. I said, you know what? It's time for us to enjoy my hard work over there and retire here peacefully. But I said, I can't just turn a blind eye to what's going on here. So I went out, helped them, and I helped several girls with their. My legacy has been solid, okay, and I've helped people and I made a difference. I'm not going to change the world, I said, but we are going to make a difference. We can't just stand here. Where is my humanity where I could just sit here and do nothing like Ned? Spaghetti dinners, really? Like we all know that's not making a difference just in that moment. He's just like no better than any of these people. They're just like, okay, they're just living for that moment, and you're just doing it for that moment, okay? And then you're no better than these people that are just living moment to moment. You're just using them so you can live in that moment with them. What about a future? What about feeding themselves? Teach them how to fish, okay? You feed them for a day and they go hungry again. Well, I teach people how to fish so they could have, like you even said so yourself, that just because you were born in a first world country that you've got every advantage. And I'm giving these people a chance over here so they can have future generations. Even Quincy said, you have to, what about the future generations? What are you going to do? And it's like, well, you know what? I got to help myself first. I got to get my car back. I got to put the police away. I got a lot of unfinished business with them. I got to get Hero's future, his tuition, and I got to stay alive. Now that the evidence is out that the police are criminals, the cybercrime police are criminals, then, I got to stay alive also. And staying alive, it also costs resources. So I'm actually trying to put together a Bitcoin account so I can have a Bitcoin address, but it takes several weeks or several days. I did it last week and I haven't gotten a response yet for my Bitcoin address. So once I get that, I'll be able but I created a new PayPal account and a new gcash. And this time I'm not connecting it to my phone. I'm not connecting it to my email. I'm just going to keep all the information, the vital information in my head. So if they kill me, then they're not going to be able to get their money. I repeat, if you want to stay alive, if you want to stay out of jail, make sure that they don't get any money first before you give them any money. Make sure you're out of jail and make sure you're alive before they get any money. In my situation, they got all the money. They got all my accounts. They've got all our supporters, contributors, money. They even got the girls' money for their education and for their health and for their braces and for their dental from David S. Actually, I'm sorry. I apologize for that, David S. But as you could see, there's nothing I could do about it. At least now, we could just move forward. We can just move on and move forward. Just as long as we're alive, there's still hope. Anyway, I can keep going on and on. If you have any questions or comments or what's your reaction to it, like I said, just put yourself in my shoes, put yourself in their shoes and what's going through their mind while they're going through this action over 4 days. And what's it like going on this shopping spree? Because for them, this is like so exciting because they will never own a credit card. And this is the only way they can own a credit card is by taking yours, okay? This is the reality, okay? And you're thinking, of course, people are still going to blame me. They're going to still say, oh, if you shouldn't have been a rapist and you shouldn't have been a human trafficker, oh, what is it going to take for it to prove to you? I mean, 3 judges have already said, a judge, this is what they do their whole lives, okay? They're King Solomon's their whole lives have said. And who are you to be saying that they're not? So you're saying, I paid off all judges and I paid off all you can't be saying crappy stuff like that, okay? I don't have the connections or the people that I know. I just had to go with the evidence, okay? And the evidence is non-existent, as you can see with our demurrer. And with what money? They already took my money. They're already been paid, okay? So if they could pay. So if they already got the money, there's 2 things that will happen if they get the money. One, they'll murder you to tie up a loose end. And the other one is put you in jail forever, which is worse than death, okay? So for people that are watching this, this should save your life, especially now that you know that what the police are planning on doing with you if you're here in the Philippines. Anyway, and this is what they want to do to you because they need money, Okay, they want money, and this is what they want to do to you. So you, like I said, they don't need any evidence. They just need they just need to know you. And Ned, you better be careful. They know about your daughter. They know about your wife. They know where you are. They know you have lots of YouTube videos. They know about your Patreon account. They know about your they know how much money you make from YouTube. They know I don't make any money from YouTube. I don't have any super chat. I don't have any monetization. You could see for yourself. And they're already done with you. But with you, they're just not only with Ned, but for everybody that's watching with this with you, they're just getting started. And if you watch this video, then you're more informed and you're more aware. I feel sorry for the people that are going to be coming over here, and they're going to, how can you avoid it? Because they can just, if they know you and they know about the people that you're interacting with here, and they'll get together with them. You could be helping them for years. You could be saving their lives. But the next moment is, hey, I'm hungry again and I want more money. And they could turn on you just as easily. You don't have to believe me. You just have to experience it for yourself. And when the police are involved, this is the worst thing that can happen. And all you have to do is make sure right now is once the police is involved, survive. Find out any way you can to get to the next day. Okay. And how I did it, of course, I just stumbled through it because I haven't done it before. But now that I went through it, I have a lot of knowledge and I have a lot of experience that I could share. So you could live and be able to enjoy and have your day and be the dog that's going to have his day. And every day this dog is having his day, and which is not what we could say, which is more than we can say for the major colonel, or I forgot what his rank was, but he's, like I said, he's pretty high ranked and he's been doing this for years, and it finally caught up with him. And this is one of the situations where not only I lived, but he's dead, and he's probably like doing this for years. And if he's doing this for years, then it was just only a matter of time until it caught up with him. Anyway, if you have, like I said, questions, comments, I'll keep updating. Next thing will probably be the medical legal report. When that is, I don't know. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. Anyway, my safety is always an issue now, especially now that every day I'm always coming out with the evidence that's damning, that's going to put the cybercrime police not only from losing their job, but in jail. So hopefully everybody appreciates what I'm doing, because the life you save may be your own. And through this, I'm saving your life. Anyway, this is Bebotoni Vendetta. Thanks for watching. Everyone knows living well is the best vendetta. And if I could continue going on these booty calls on your behalf, then so be it. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. And part of it is keeping ourselves safe from the police. And this is something that we could probably discuss as a whole, as a group, on how we can prevent something like this from happening again. And I could share my experiences and how I was able to survive, and hopefully I can get back in the game. Anyway, this is Bev. Thanks for watching.